You can hear me?
Yes, sir.
You hear me?
I can hear you.
Alright, cool. Alright, I know this is controversial, but I'm keep it real. I'm gonna start off like this. As far as the GP guy, I'm gonna say it like this, because I've been locked up in Cook County. So with that being said, I want to preface it like this. As being in the county, especially when you're part of certain organizations, it's important that you show people your transcripts. With that being said, because what I seen with the thing with him was that people said he touched a 12-year-old girl. But I always want to ask some street nigga from the inside. Well, why is it that they never showed the transcripts of the 12-year-old girl? Because they always just said them online. Because I'm gonna see it like this. If homie actually did that shit, I wouldn't fuck with him at all. Cause I don't stand by no nigga touching no kid, man. I got a daughter. But I have seen niggas inside prison who got a raw deal. But his case, I believe he had a raw deal, bro. Cause like I said, if you're a child molester, that's not a one-off. That's like a sexual preference. So if that's a sexual preference, why is it a one-off? Because I've seen niggas in prison who have multiple cases of that shit. And by niggas, I mean all types of people. So with that being said, I kind of used to fuck with dude until he got his channel took. But, I fuck with everybody. Only reason I fuck with him on the manosphere side, because he seemed like a nigga that was genuine. All these other niggas seemed like they was just bitter-ass incels. But like I said, I ain't saying I support child molestation, because I don't, man. I don't. I do see a nigga who had a raw deal.
Okay. I'll take that's fair enough, but let me ask you, me and you, like if I got that jacket, I'm fighting that shit. I don't care how long it takes me. I'm getting that shit off me. Like there's programs, there's the Innocence Project, whatever the case. I would die getting that jacket off of me if you legit got a raw deal.
No doubt.
Okay.
No doubt, bro.
So my problem that I have is when he told us he got a raw deal, we initially took him at his word. Okay, so then we're like, okay, well, my brother's an attorney. Do you want his information? We were all giving him, ways and means to help him fight or, get the case reversed, adjudicated, whatever the case may be. And never, not once did we ever see him actually take action or say, hey, I'm about to start this process of trying to clear my name, blah, blah, blah. We never seen it.
I'm gonna ask you, bro. And the pill takes forever, bro. And that shit is expensive.
For
bro.
sure.
It's tens of thousands of dollars.
For sure.
That shit can take upwards of a decade, bro.
For sure.
So even if he was to start doing that, you probably won't see any motion in that until 20, 34.
Okay.
That shit ain't overnight, bro. That's a long enduring process.
I agree. But the fact that he didn't even start it or didn't even try. How long has he been on YouTube now? And when we found out, it was like 5 or 6 years ago. Did you even begin to start the process? Did you even call and ask around, say, hey, what are my options? What can I do? I refuse to live and go through life with that jacket on me. I'm fighting this shit, even if it's slow motion. If somebody asks, hey, here's my paperwork. Here's where it's stuck at. It's stuck at the appellate court level right now. I don't have a court date until 2045. Whatever the case may be, you should be showing some type of progress that you're trying to clear your name.
I feel you, but shit like that, man, a lot of the attorneys be looking to talk about you need 70,000 on up, especially a decent one, bro. A lot of niggas ain't got that type of bread, and especially a lot of niggas, we have a lot of shit they go through and they just pop out. And I know they ain't some shit you should pop out on, but at the same time, bro, a nigga ain't got that type of money like that, then ain't nothing that nigga can do until he can work on getting that shit done.
Right.
Like I say, if fam was really like that, I would never fuck with dude, because like I said, I'm part of something and I stand by something, bro. And like I said, when I know for people who are in that lifestyle, that's not a one-off. There's no, just touch a dog kid once and it happens. Nah, that's a sexual preference. People who like to mess with kids, they can't stop doing it.
I feel you.
People like Joe Biden and them.
Yeah.
People like the Clintons and them. That's a sexual proclivity. So if he was this so-called child molester, then why is there only one child when we know that these people have a track record to continue to do this? This is like a sexual addiction. I don't get it.
I hear you, but like I said, that's a jacket no man should ever want to leave on and not try to fight that. I don't care how much money it takes. How bad do you want it off your name? That's my question. How bad do you want this jacket off your name?
shit. I mean, a lot. Come on, a lot. Like I said, we gotta be in reality. Like, man, like coming up with the money is not impossible, but it's a long time in the making. Like the appeal process. But what I really want to say is that, like, what I noticed with this internet space is like a lot of people take what people say to heart, especially without doing any due diligence. Like with somebody did something to an old lady. I'm in the state of Illinois. If you did a crime against an old person, you would get an extra 25 years upon the crime you did to them. So that doesn't make sense, because I know, like, there's people that they don't like, they'll take anything that they said. Mm-hmm. From what I've seen with this situation with this man, is that a lot of people take shit that people say because, well, we believe he did this, so then that means he did that. So that means they did that. Now, knowing that just because you got convicted or something, don't mean you did shit. Like, especially in Chicago, a lot of niggas cop out the shit because they don't have the money, or you already know if you got a TV, they're going to force you to cop out.
Okay.
So with that being said, a lot of niggas cop out for all types of shit because they don't want to risk going to try to get buried under the jail.
I'm with you.
So like I said, I've seen it in the street, mm-hmm. in my family, and even in my situation, like a lot of people cop out the shit just to say, man, let me get this shit over with so I can go back to having my life.
Okay.
Especially going back to his situation. You talking about a nigga that was 17.
Now there, okay.
And beaten by the system, told that he was retarded at age 14 because he was classified as being autistic.
Okay.
You talking about a man that had low self-esteem. So this man was like, man, fuck it. Like, man, let me cop out to this shit, even though my homie had sex with that girl who was 15. And, I didn't do it. But you already know how the boys is. When you lock them in themselves, they got that man they want to pick out. Like, hey, one of y'all finna cop out, or better yet, this man did it. Police don't be doing no investigation and shit, man. A lot of these police lazy as hell. They just either, hey, let me pick the path of least resistance. This nigga on the side of a known gang banger, and he tied for 30 miles. He did the shit.
Okay.
And from hearing the details of the story, shit, if the police torture you or do things to get a confession out of you, which I've seen them did, I experienced shit and did all types of shit. That's how a lot of niggas get appeals and shit. A lot of niggas cop out. Nigga, we in Illinois where, from early as I can remember, niggas used to tell me, man, boys would kidnap niggas and torture niggas in the underground prison on Holman Square to get them.
Bro, I'm from the town. I know. Trust me. I know. Matter of fact, remember the case of Aaron.
A lot of niggas go down for shit they didn't do.
Right, but remember the case of Aaron Patterson, right? Are you well with?
Mm-hmm. Okay. John Bird.
Yeah, exactly. Even though it took him forever and a day, he got the appeal. Now he fucked it up at the end, mm-hmm. with the fake guns. But the fact is, even though he went through probably more than anybody has ever gone through, to the point where he had to etch in, he took his fingernail and etched in the table that under duress. It took him however many years it took him. He got it done. My thing is this, mm-hmm. with Tito's case, if he was underage, no counsel, poor counsel, those are grounds for an appeal.
Mm-hmm.
He has grounds for an appeal. And the fact is, he should have. First thing you do is, whenever you get locked up, learn your case law, and find a loophole, find a case law that applies to your case, and say, I can use this as an appeal if I get jammed up, if I get a raw deal.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that he hasn't done none of that, from what I can tell, is the problem.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm saying.
I feel. But like I say, man, if homie was actually like that, I wouldn't even fuck with dude. Like I said, like, I've seen people that lifestyle. I hate to reiterate it, but let's keep it real. If for your experience with, not even when you've been locked up, you've seen people like that.
Yeah.
When they normally on their jacket showing that they did that multiple times to multiple kids.
I agree. There would be.
There's no one off with these type of people.
There's
no one off. It doesn't make sense. If you're actually like that, you will, like I said, it will be a trail. People that are actually like that. Huh?
I'm not debating if he's a serial toucher. I'm debating the part that if he firmly believes he got a raw deal, then I need you to take action.
I see.
That's it. That's all I'm saying.
I see. Shit. Cause like I said, man, cause I don't want to make it like niggas offending if I touch kids. Nah, like, it's that A lot of niggas get raw deals for shit. A lot of niggas who went down for a rape case that they never did.
For sure, I hear you.
Like,
yeah. I'm not saying that doesn't happen. I agree. I'm just pointing to his instance. He keeps saying he got a raw deal. Okay, then you're gonna get your boots up and get ready to fight this shit if that's the case.
Yeah.
You know.
But until then, niggas gonna still say the shit because this shit gonna probably take over a decade. Like I said, court motion is slow as hell.
I agree.
Until then, niggas gonna still bury his name under the ground. And after he get that off, people say, well, he did something to an old lady. Then why is he not still in prison? Because that would have been robbery plus 25 years enhancement for doing something to an old person. You see how, like, what I'm trying to say is that black people online say a lot of shit without any backup. And then somebody could post up some fake paperwork with no real transcripts and people will believe that shit.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. This what this shit is.
Well, here,
it's like I was asking, how did they know it was a 12-year-old girl? Did they post a transcript? Did they?
It's when you look up his case.
Somebody said and they ran with it.
No. When you actually look up his case, it lists the girl at 12 years old. The victim is listed at 12 years. They had him listed at 17, had her listed at 12. That's the official paperwork when you look up his case.
And this from the Cook County.
Cook County, yes. Yep.
That's kind of funny because usually when somebody else gets somebody else's transcript, the details and stuff, the name and stuff be blotted out. So
her name's not in it, but her age, victim's age is 12, and he's listed at 17 at the time of the crime. But I don't want to, like I said, I'm not agreeing. I don't disagree with what you're saying. All I'm saying is if it's that bad, if it's that important to him, he would take action. It doesn't matter how long the courts take. What did you do? You know, that's all I'm saying. What did you do? Damn, the court's going to take forever. That's what the courts do anyway. The wheels of justice always turn slowly. But my thing is this. And then the other part that you bring with with the old lady, now that's a whole nother argument. You can argue that he's a habitual criminal because he's always doing something to land himself back into prison. That's another discussion for another day.
He would have been still locked up though, because that would have been 25 years upon plus the robbery. So that doesn't make sense.
Okay, so
he would have still been locked up if he did that.
Even if he didn't, he finds himself in these predicaments to keep getting charged, being arrested.
I see.
You know, at some point you kind of learn to move different. Like I only been locked up once. That was it for me. I'm good. I learned my lesson. I'm good. That's all. I needed one time to learn.
Now I understand, but like I said, how we know about the system, how the world punishes you after. Like I know niggas who got, I'm not gonna say no as a no them, but seeing niggas who had certain shit on their background, they can't get a job, but if they do get a job, they can find some reason to get fired. A lot of niggas went back to the streets. It was like, nobody won't hire me. What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? If I can't get a job, because people either won't hire me, or when they do hire me, they tend to keep me for a short amount of time. You force my hands to do something I don't want to do. It's like, I know niggas who got a robbery background that it's hard for them to get a job, and they say, fuck, I'm gonna go back to the streets. Not that I want to do this, but what am I supposed to do? Until they did that, until they was able to start up their own business, like with Homie and them. One thing I can respect about the nigga had his own fashion brand until he caught that last case, and he was doing well with that shit. But like I said, you know, I think what Homie did was that he's using his case as a warning as a black man that's gonna wake up. Because, you know, sometimes we need a person that has an unfortunate situation that we can learn from. He out here telling us woo after bam. Let's be careful, because we already know the system gonna slam niggas on whatever they can. Because it's not really about who did it or not. It's about getting them convictions to get that clearance rate up so it can look good for the next election.
I hear what you're saying. Well,
look good for their profile.
I know that. I hear you. I appreciate you calling in. I won't take no more of your time. Thank you for calling in, bro. I appreciate it.
Peace.
Peace, bro. Yo. Hello.
Hi, Sly.
Yes.
Hi, Sly. This is Jane. How are you?
I'm good, and you?
I'm fine, love. You were asking a question regarding the documentary you were showing.
Yeah. Also, the question was for those that will watch certain content creators that had those type of convictions in the past. What's the appeal, or why would you watch somebody that was convicted of molesting children? That was the initial question. But if you had a question about that documentary, by all means.
Oh well, I did a good bit of tutoring with with students who would go abroad over the summer,
Okay.
or they would do semesters away. And I remember talking to a couple of boys who liked to play gay, you know, like, ha ha ha, I'm just going to pop him in the nuts. Or, you know, that type of quasi, or that sexual, homosexual play that frat boys do sometimes.
Okay.
And I told them, I said, well, the country, you're going to foreign countries like India. They were going to certain parts of India. I said, you don't want to play like that over there. They will rape you. And they thought it was funny. And I said, you guys do know that that does happen to boys in a very large number in these foreign places, because they were going to do community service for college credit and stuff like that. I always look at, and probably I shouldn't admit this, but I always look at organizations like Mr. Beast and stuff weird when they go over to these third world countries and they work with kids, or they putting in money, putting in water or whatever.
Right.
And it seems to be a group of guys. It's always a group of guys. There's never any women. Or if they're women, they're very much not a central part of the thing. I always give them the hairy eyeball, because I think it's important to understand that the whole world doesn't behave like we do. And if we don't keep our borders open, we might want to know what are the customs of people who are coming to our country as well. I mean, we act like, I think as Americans, we have a tendency to behave as if we are the standard there. Everyone does what we do. And if we don't see it on a daily basis, if we don't experience it, it's not that bad, or it doesn't exist. I've had that debate many times with friends of mine, where it turns out that I'll say something and they'll go, oh, a doctor would never risk his license for stuff like that. And you do stories all the time of professional people who do the most heinous, repugnant things. Thank you for keeping me informed. That's why I watch stuff like this. I want to know what's happening in the rest of the world before it ends up at my front door.
Okay.
And you were talking about watching someone who has that on their jacket. I'm going to say this. I think some people, their narcissism is so deep, they don't care what they get attention for.
Okay.
They are so, I've seen people who use the most repugnant things to advertise to find people like themselves. Like that guy who was on with Anton, his lead attorney, and he was talking about how he used to get young girls off of Craigslist.
Right, yeah.
And he was actually surprised that they were disgusted by him. Because he assumes that every man fantasizes about what he fantasizes about. And so when they responded less than favorably to him, he got defensive. And I think it's the same thing with content creators. I think many of them don't really see what they did is wrong. I can even imagine, I mean, we're about the same age, but you know there were 17-year-old boys who had no problem going down to the junior high to find a date.
Oh no, you're right. We seen it all, especially in high school. Yeah.
they couldn't make it with the high school girls. It trickles down. They complain about the 25-year-olds, because I know half the pretty girls at my school. I went to Dunbar.
Okay.
For a brief period of time. Half the pretty girls at my school had, when the airport was still open, they used to send the guys, the handlers, the baggage handlers, the union sent them down to, Midfield?
Mm-hmm.
So they would pick up the girls because they would have a car. They would have a little money in their pocket. We were right by, we weren't too far from the Pepsi plant.
Okay.
We weren't too far from the UPS central office, when the central post office was in the South Loop. All of those guys used to come down to the high school to pick up their girlfriends. And you know what I mean? Because it would be in the same area. We would eat lunch together. We would have lunch off campus. So it was no thing. It's the same thing with a 17-year-old dating a 12-year-old. It's a problem now, but it was very, very common.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, they used to hold you back in Chicago back then. They don't do it anymore.
Right.
But there were people graduating from high school at Dunbar who were like 20 and 21 because they had been held back.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Jeez.
And if he's from the neighborhood, and he got a little touch of autism, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then let's be honest, a lot of those guys wouldn't care as long as they had a girlfriend. They just wouldn't.
Right.
I mean, and if you remember, when we were growing up, the teenage pregnancy rate was so bad, they were talking about building a daycare center in certain high schools.
That's right.
I mean, people forget what it was like. They didn't start all of this. Man, when they went to prom, those girls had military men escorting them. People you knew were clearly over 21 escorting them. And they did a study for our generation where it found out most of those girls are having babies by dads who are grown.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of guys like to give lip service to it and be like, oh, he's a creep. But the truth of the matter is that you don't want to look in there, Sly. You just don't. Mm-hmm. You'll find out some people that you know. Listen, I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to tell you the true story. My daughter was 15. She came to work with me. I worked in a nonprofit to work with technology leaders throughout the city. An executive from Google sat at the meeting and was hitting on my daughter.
Oh.
And he said, weren't you part of, he asked her, weren't you part of Cycle 15? And she said, no, I mean, I'm 15, as in I'm in high school. And he was like, oh, well, we have internship programs.
Damn.
I've had people in my office come up to me and be like, your daughter's fine. She was 4 at the time. He was drunk at an office party and he tried to kiss her. And we're not talking, I'm talking corporate America.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a brother.
Damn.
Too. And he was pissy drunk at one of them .com, during the heyday when there was a bunch of money floating around.
Mm-hmm.
he tried to kiss her. I've had that happen a couple of times, and the dudes will be like, well, where her daddy at then? Because they're going to assume that they see me with my daughter, and they assume that her father's not in the picture.
Mm-hmm.
Or he don't really care about her. And then when they would see the mister would show up, it would get, the attitude would change because it's that predatory.
Mm-hmm.
I myself have had started getting male attention when I was 11. Do that some night. Ask all the women in your chat how they were the first time a man said something to them.
Right, yeah. Jeez.
So, I mean, if I'm not trying to defend it, but this is what I will say. We got a problem in our culture, baby. We have a problem. We know we have a problem. We know, you know, there's just as many women who got sickness,
mm-hmm.
who ain't got no problem with throwing the boy who mows her lawn something more than an extra $5.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why boys get so messed up, because somebody starts touching on them when they're 9, 10, 11 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So we pass it around. We don't want to admit that we think this shit is normal, especially if a girl is attractive.
Right.
And then, you know, I was a little bit taller than average.
Okay.
So people would be like, how can I put this? You only 11? Girl, you look like you're 16. I'm carrying a Barbie doll. What? Literally. I was playing with Barbie doll. And as a girl, you're not allowed that. And I can imagine with boys the same thing. One of the things my dude told me was, he said, one of the worst things you could do to a boy is starve them, because boys are hungry all the time. I would imagine that if a kid was on the street, you could get them to do almost anything if you fed them. Am I lying?
No lies told there. Well, shit. Thank you for calling in with your point of view. Thank you.